Alright, so hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this new playlist, and it will be about Warlords of Draenor. The changes we know so far. I can finally give you some numbers. I have a massive topic from Blizzard. It is very long, so if you don't want to listen to me, link is in the description. You can read it yourself, but I will read it for you. And today I'll be talking about primary character stats and attack power. So the primary stats, agility, strength, and intellect, are foundations of a character's power, but they have not been created equally, making it difficult to properly balance them against secondary stats. The leading reason for this is that agility and intellect also provide critical strike chance, in addition to attack power and spell power, whereas strength does not. In order to achieve better balance, we have removed critical chance from agility and intellect. Still, it felt like agility-based characters should critically strike more often. So we've raised those classes' baseline critical strike chance to compensate. Agility no longer provides an increased chance to critically strike with melee and ranged attacks or abilities. Intellect no longer provides an increased chance to critically strike with spells. The baseline chance to critically strike is now 5% for all classes. There are no longer different chances to critically strike with melee, ranged, and spells. There is a new passive named Critical Strikes, which increases chances to critically strike by 10%, and it's learned by all rogues, hunters, feral and guardian druids, brewmaster and windwalker monks, and enhancement shamans. We've consolidated that the way attack power and spell power function and scale to make those values clearer and correct some scaling issues regarding caster weapons relative to physical weapons. So each point of agility or strength now grants 1 attack power, down from 2. All other sources of attack power now grant half as much as before. Weapon damage values on all weapons have been reduced by 20%. Attack power now increases weapon damage at a rate of 1 DPS per 3.5 attack power, up from 1 DPS per 14 attack power. Attack power, spell power, or weapon damage now affect the entire healing or damage output of player spells. Next we have active mitigation, and active mitigation has worked very well as a tanking model, so moving forward we want to keep the amount of dodge and parry on tanks on the low side. This helps prevent encounters from causing very spiky damage on tanks, which generally isn't much fun. Dodge and parry gains from strength and agility has been reduced to accomplish this. Additionally, items in Warlords of Draenor will not have dodge or parry on them as a stat. Some dodge and parry can still be gained through class-specific effects, but the amount of dodge gained per 1 point of agility has been reduced by 25%, and the amount of parry gained per point of strength has been also reduced by 25%. Next we have hit and expertise removal. Hit and expertise were not fun stats. They acted to remove a penalty instead of making you stronger. Most players treated hit and expertise caps as mandatory, and rightfully so, with failure to reach those caps as a trap of sorts. After adjusting, gemming and reforging gear to meet their cap, players could then go after the actual damage increasing stats. We decided to remove hit and expertise and make it so that you don't need them. We still want melee specializations to attack creatures from behind when possible, so attacks from the front will have a 3% chance to be parried that cannot be eliminated for non-tanking specializations. And as a result of that, all players now have 100% chance to hit, 0% chance to be dodged, and 3% chance to be parried, and 0% chance to glance as well, when fighting creatures up to 3 levels higher, bosses included. Tank specializations receive an additional 3% reduction in chance to be parried, so tank attacks can have a 0% chance to be parried versus a creature up to 3 levels higher. Creatures 4+ level higher than you still have a chance to avoid your attacks in various ways, so to discourage you from attempting to fight enemies that are much stronger than you. Dual wielding still imposes a 17% chance to miss, so it's balanced with two-handed weapons. Hit and expertise bonuses on all items and item enhancements, and gems, enhance, etc. have been converted into critical strike, haste, or mastery. And thanks to all these changes, some class abilities have been changed because they are no longer needed. So for Death Knights, Veteran of the Third War now also reduces the chance for attacks to be parried by 3%. Druids, Balance of Power has been removed. Balance of Power is a passive that gives you hit depending on how much spirit you have. Nature's Focus no longer increases the chance to hit with Moonfire and Wrath, and Thick Hide now also reduces the chance for attacks to be parried by 3%. Monk's Stance of the Wise Serpent no longer increases hit and expertise. Stance of the Sturdy Ox now also reduces the chance for attacks to be parried by 3%. Priests, Divine Fury has been removed and Spiritual Precision has been removed. Paladins, Holy Insight no longer increases the chance to hit with spells, and Sanctuary now also reduces the chance for attacks to be parried by 3%. For Shamans, Elemental Precision has been removed, and Spiritual Insight no longer increases the chance to hit with Lightning Bolt, Lava Burst, Hex, or Flame Shock. And for Warriors, Unwavering Sentinel now also reduces the chance for attacks to be parried by 3%. And the last thing I'm gonna look at this video is player health and resilience. We're planning several interconnected changes designed to provide better tuned gameplay for healers and improve the healing dynamic in PvP. The high amount of base resilience and battle fatigue in Midst of Pandaria caused characters to feel much weaker in PvP than they did in PvE. To address this disparity, we're approaching Warlords of Draenor with the goal of shrinking that gap as much as possible. To reduce dependence on resilience, we need to increase player survivability against other players, and we chose to do this by essentially doubling players' health, post-squish that is. On its own, that increase in health would make players more survivable in the world at large. So we're also increasing creature damage and the effectiveness of healing spells to balance the things out. The net result of these changes is that individual attacks will knock a smaller chunk of players' health pool in PvP, but your survivability in PvE remains unaffected. Doubling player health gave us room to reduce resilience and battle fatigue, but our goal was to be able to remove them entirely. In order to achieve that, we're also reducing PvP spike damage across the board by lowering critical damage and critical heals against players in PvP to 150% of their normal effect, which is 200%. Our hope is that these changes will allow us to reduce the base resilience and battle fatigue to 0. It's possible that we will still find a need for some minor amount of base resilience and or battle fatigue, and we'll be testing these changes extensively and adjusting as needed. And here is the list of changes. So base resilience has been reduced to 0%, battle fatigue has been removed, PvP combat no longer reduces the amount of healing received by PvP participants. Critical damage and critical heals in PvP combat now deal 150% of their normal spell ability effects, down from 200%. The amount of health per stamina has been approximately doubled. The curve on this calculation has been smoothed out as well, so the exact amount varies slightly by level. Maximum mana has been approximately doubled at all levels to keep the pace with the expected health from new stamina values. All consumables have had their healing and mana regeneration values approximately doubled, and all creatures have had their melee damage doubled. Most creature spells and abilities have their damage doubled as well. All player cast healing and absorption effects have been increased by approximately 50% in effectiveness. If they heal or absorb a percentage of maximum health, they are instead reduced by 25%. All other noted changes are in terms related to that. For example, if another note change, that is, Mega Heal now heals for 40% more, that means that Mega Heal now heals for a total of 210% of what it used to, which is a relatively 40% higher compared to other heals. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, I hope you learned something new, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.